There comes a time in every fabulous person's life when they realize that they've been blending wrong. Especially if you're like a person who's getting older, like from literally the moment that you're born, and you haven't succumbed to, you know, an eyelid lift. As that skin starts to get like a little bit saggier, it's real delicate, okay? You get skipping, you get all of those kinds of things. So I'm gonna show you like the best, just the best way that you can like take your inner artistic ability that you might not think you have, but you absolutely do, and apply it to your makeup. Boo, do you have to sleep on a blanket because you pee when you sleep? Yeah, you do. You do. You do. Why are you licking me? You're such a goof. You're such a goof. What a goof. You'll be shocked to hear that this really has like almost nothing to do with your brushes. It's all about your technique. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna do the wrong thing. Wait, that's not to say that your brushes don't play a huge role. They absolutely do. And better quality brushes are going to give you a better blend overall. Same with like better quality eyeshadow palettes are gonna give you better quality overall versus like, you know, cheaper quality or eyeshadows that have like a lot of filler in them. So those are absolutely contributing factors and they are important. If you have the skills, you can work with anything, all right? If you don't, you gotta work on the skills. But this is one thing that's gonna be really important for everybody, especially as we get older. So let's do the wrong thing first. Please forgive, I just filmed a little tight lining video, so you might be like, oh my god, her eyelash line is looking so thick and fabulous. And yes, that's true, but I am wearing makeup. I'm gonna use the Rougher 13 brush, which is just this tiny little guy. It's just a tiny little guy. I like tiny little guys. So, you know, if you don't have any tiny brushes, I highly recommend, but it also doesn't need to be tiny. That's my preference. I'm struggling to decide what color I want to use. Yeah, we're gonna use the Rotten palette from Blend Bunny and Microsoft. My Pang. I love this palette so much, and I just love it. So let's just pick a freaking color. Let's just do, I guess, a brown for like education purposes. So I'm just gonna use Histo, this guy right here. So I'm going in with clean. I'm gonna use two so you can see on clean brushes. You know what I mean? Like, what's that called? Control? Is it? Is that a control? It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna dip into Histo. And I'm tapping off. Now, my lids are barely prepped in any way. I put a teeny bit of foundation on them and then just set with a little bit of powder, which honestly has been what I've been doing for like basically all of my eyeshadow looks. So this is really more about like how you're using the brush. It has a lot less to do with like your eyeshadow primers. And like I said, just like the quality of your eyeshadows and the quality of your brushes, your eyeshadow primers are also are the way that you prep the skin for the eyeshadow is a huge contributing factor. That's not what this video is about. If you want to use like a grippy eyeshadow base for like your pigment, go for it. If you're looking for something satin and like blendable, or that's gonna like create a nice blendy base, like those are all things that you should be thinking about. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about where the eyeshadow meets the skin. Okay, so I'm gonna do windshield wiper motions. I'm gonna just go like this. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not really looking down into a mirror. I'm looking straight. I'm actually kind of looking straight into a mirror. And I have all this skin up here. All this skin up here that's like loose, okay? I'm getting older. I just turned 35, all right? This is loose. It's looser, right? So by doing windshield wiper motions like this, or like circular motions, do you see how when I spin my brush, do you see how it's just pulling that skin, okay? It's just pulling that skin. Now, this is not completely horrible, okay? These are beautiful eyeshadows, by the way. Great brush. But if you look real close at different angles, you can kind of see I have like a pretty heavy deposit like right there. And then you can see all this sort of like chunky. It's chunky in certain areas and it's chunky in not certain areas. It's not chunky in others. When you have excess skin, when you get older, you have a problem area. This sort of like applies to people who have like the patch. The patch. I just made a video about like the patch on your face that won't blend. This is a very similar concept. If you want to watch that, I'll pop it up here. It's very helpful. I also struggle with the patch on the lid, and that's also like something that a lot of people struggle with. So I'm gonna go in with a completely fresh 13 brush. Okay. So I'm just tapping in and then like tapping off, my typical process of picking up eyeshadow. Now, what I'm gonna do, instead of just like going straight in and doing like windshield wiper motions, I'm actually gonna pat. I'm gonna pat. Do we instantly see a difference here? Again, I don't even have any eyeshadow primer on at all. I'm just going to pat and dab around the crease. And then just gently, when I want to blend it out, pat it out. And then if I see any specific areas that aren't taking the product, I flipped my brush around to an area of the brush that has a little bit more product on it. I'm just going to build it up just in that area, just in that one area. Okay. So all I'm doing is patting, no windshield wiper motions, just patting motions. Can you see the difference there? Isn't that crazy? Look at how soft that is, as opposed to that. Let's build it up a little bit more. I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing. I start off in my crease. I'm holding my brush back pretty far, okay? So I can ensure a nice light application. Press a little bit harder when I want to like deposit a little bit more. Just gonna wipe my brush off a little bit. And then up here, where the skin is more flat, I can go in and blend around those edges to really soften, because I don't need to worry about the brush skipping over that skin. However, if you still have that problem, the higher you go, just continue to pat to soften. If you need to remove, wipe off your brush, go in with a clean brush. Just patting, literally just patting. And then I just want to build up right here a little bit more. So just like so gently patting that product. And then over here, because I didn't like completely cover up my veins and stuff, there's little areas where it's a little uneven because of color coming through. So I'm just going to pat around the darker areas to make it look a little bit better. Isn't that crazy? So soft as opposed to this side, you know? Much more defined in the area that we want, rather than just kind of like muddy and plopped down. So this works for everybody. It literally works for everyone. Now, if you have like gorgeous, like taut, young eyelids, okay, the Cillian Murphy eyelid or whatever, then like you can do windshield wiper motions all you want. You can do circular motions, like your skin is nice and like tight to the bone, then don't worry about it, all right? If you're one of those people and you do all of that and then you have that unblendable patch, you can treat it this way. Just pick up a little bit of that extra product, okay? Not too much, not too much. You wanna make sure that it's like diffused, and then just pat it in that area. You kind of have to think about it when you have that like unblendable patch. You have to think about it differently because it's different. The skin there is different. That's why it's not sticking, it's not holding that product. But if you are someone who has like hooded eyes, or you just have like excess skin, or it's just like you're getting older and it just feels like it's getting harder and harder to blend, and you always have seen people do like the windshield wiper motions or the circular motions, and that's what you've always done, and you're like, this isn't working for me anymore, this is what you should do. Okay. And again, you can do a combination of the two. You can totally like go in first with like windshield wiper motions because maybe you're lazy, and then pick up, you know, a little more and be like, oh, okay, I have like, you know, this area is a little sparse, so let me just pop a little bit in there. Maybe pick up a smaller brush if there's any like smaller areas that you need to like address. But this is like one of the best blending tricks there is. Like, you just kind of have to think about like how you apply things slightly differently when you have something popping up that's not allowing you to use your typical like technique, you know? So that's it for this video. I just wanted to share that with you. Think outside the box a little bit. You got to think outside the box a little bit, all right? Because your face changes, your skin changes, your technique has to change. Maybe the products change, the products that are working for you that aren't working for you change. So you have to. You just have to, okay? It's life. So I hope that this helps. Please let me know if you give it a shot, and it does. Let me know what other shit you want to see, and whatever. I'll see you next one, dude.